Florence McGillivray was a Canadian artist. She was born in 1864 and died in 1938. Like Tom Thomson, McGillivray excelled at landscape painting, tackling the Ontario wilderness at a time when the subject was new. McGillivray and Thomson were contemporaries, and the National Gallery of Canada started buying their work in 1914. Thomson was reported to have said that she was one of the best artists around and that he valued her advice. His landscapes became famous, hers didn't. So what was her problem? She was a woman, a modernist, and a landscape painter. It was difficult for a Canadian woman artist to become a professional 100 years ago. Women were supposed to get married, have babies, and stay at home. And because McGillivray was female, her work was undervalued by critics and ignored by art historians. As a modernist, McGillivray had to fight for recognition in a relatively conservative Canadian art world. Moreover, taming nature with a brush was a job for a man. Women were deemed to be intellectually incapable of painting landscape. A woman artist was expected to paint pretty images of domestic life. McGillivray said no to domesticity in her art and in her life. One of McGillivray's landscapes, Winter at Rosebank, belongs to the Art Gallery of Hamilton's permanent collection. McGillivray envisions this Lake Ontario landscape as dynamic and untamed. She restricts the view to part of a snow-covered slope rising on a strong diagonal on the left. Trees grow beyond the picture's space, suggesting unlimited height. The lower ground on the right leads up to crashing waves. McGillivray heightens the drama with decisive, seemingly rapidly applied brushstrokes and an almost arbitrary use of strong color. The birch trunk in the foreground contains orange, blue, and mauve. Blue and green arcs make waves in the distance. The sky is streaked with mauves, pinks, and yellows. The textured strokes of the brush draw attention to themselves, reminding us that we are looking at a painting. This, along with her image of a wild and colorful land, is what makes this painting modern in Canada in 1917. It's not her first foray into modernism. Born in Whitby, Ontario, McGillivray lived in Toronto and Ottawa, but was an avid traveler, visiting and painting the landscapes of Europe, Alaska, Jamaica, and Trinidad. She studied art in Paris, and in 1913 her painting Contentment was shown at the prestigious Salon des Beaux-Arts. That same year she probably executed Afterglow, a thoroughly modern painting in its simplified treatment of the land. This painting belongs to the National Gallery of Canada. Modernists loved to paint dusk and dawn because naturalistic details could be kept to a minimum, thus helping to simplify a scene. McGillivray divides her composition into three big horizontals. The bottom, the foreground, consists of rich earthy browns, broken occasionally by bits of red and black paint. She paints the second layer, the midground, in lighter tones. Yellows dominate the top layer, the sky. The trees, because of their lack of leaves, add vertical shapes on the right and help to unite the disparate horizontals. McGillivray applies her paint in loose rectangles and squares, building up a textured pattern that has no relation to nature. In Midwinter, Dumbarton, Ontario, also in the National Gallery of Canada, McGillivray tackles another snowy landscape. As we have come to expect, she enlivens the tree trunks with dabs of vivid color. McGillivray died in 1938. In spite of her success and the success of other female artists, the attitudes toward women in Canadian art had not changed since her youth in the previous century.